Minutes. Dan Henson canceled for today.
He did? Oh, good. Well, then we'll still discuss that
Deb and
matter.
Kathy both. And Kathy said she.
No, Kathy will be here on the internet.
Oh,
Hello?
great.
Yes, she just said that. So who is that right there?
That's Lori Loizell.
Hi, Lori.
Hi. Oh, I thought this was all virtual.
See if it's us.
I'm gonna put this just for.
We're working, just getting some audio set up here. Might be
Have a
us.
mute all if they're marked out.
So we're muted? No, we're not muted.
Did you mute all?
No, well, we can't hear. Lori, you can hear us?
You can hear us?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we
Yeah.
can't hear her. Where's the speaker?
You can't hear
Well, I was
me?
already
Oh.
sure it was up there.
There's someone else there that can speak to see.
Yeah, let's see. We got some view. Who else is coming here? CareerWorks lawyers.
But see if at the
Oh,
top,
admit.
did you mute
Admit.
everybody?
No, I didn't mute anybody.
Hit that button and see what it does.
That'll mute them, right?
I thought it with the line across it, it's me because you've already.
Oh, all muted.
No,
Let
okay.
everyone turn on the mic.
Well, they're all
All muted.
Should I try to join?
You muted everyone.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Angela's our new tech person. Thank you
Good.
very much for taking over. I would love to not do this. We can hear you good now.
So,
Can you hear us, Fred?
Jada,
Hello.
some last.
Hi, how you doing, Fred?
What I want to
Okay, how
do.
you doing?
Good. You can hear us?
Suggestion.
Yeah.
Because last time, great, we
Great.
spent a lot of time talking to people.
I'm gonna mute us just while we're getting some last things situated. But if you guys need something, say the word.
Hi, Fred. I'm
How you
Laurie.
doing? Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah. I'm good. How are you?
Oh, hanging in there. Keeping busy in Ward 3. There's always something going on.
Yeah. Did you, I thought this was all virtual. So this meeting is usually hybrid like this?
Generally in the past, it's been pretty much Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Only last couple times has it been hybrid.
Okay.
I probably should turn on captions if we got them. It helps a little bit.
Oh, otherwise you can't hear the people or they can't hear us?
Well,
or-
in the voice from the room always isn't clear.
I
Correct.
see. Yeah.
Lori, this is Angela. I'm over here in the room. Waving
Oh,
at you.
hi.
We're using the computer equipment that we received through a grant through the city of Northampton to be able to allow the residents at Salvo to be able to connect. So Ward
Okay.
3, Salvo's in Ward 3. Ward 3 is learning to utilize our new computer program.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. That's great.
And this is the second meeting we've done as hybrid, just to be able to do this.
We're gonna go through all that.
I mean, that's
I can put it up top if you want.
up top. It would. I don't think. Do you think it would get us up top?
Oh, if we have to reattach it.
Yeah.
There's.
Doors. Well, I think it was just like
It's
there.
right there last time.
Oh, it's. No, I'm thinking like, if there's a way to put, is there something that'll lift it up just a touch? Because it's just hitting the table.
There's some books over here in this room.
Yeah.
Here, if you want to grab some books,
I mean,
Thankfully, I have
yeah,
not
we have
been
a seat
around
on the.
just grab any of them.
to be sick, which is good.
And I want to let you know there's a little stage before they get to the
Yes,
stage.
that's true. Lori, I like your stained glass,
Yeah,
your
let's-
window.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
We got-
It looks very churchy.
Always,
We got
always
some-
into
Yeah,
stained
let's
glass.
do
It's
that.
wonderful.
Cause I'm in my meeting,
What is
trying to
that?
think of all the
Encyclopedia.
library, but
Oh, okay.
Will you guys go, when the meeting starts, will you go around and introduce yourselves?
Yes, we will.
yeah, we usually do.
There we go.
So Lori, are you just listening in tonight?
Well, yeah, I mean, I see that if you want to make an announcement, you have to tell people ahead of time. So I'll do that another time.
That would be great because
Yeah.
we haven't voted on the policy yet. but
Yeah,
we're
that's fine.
I-
Although I did kind of just want to, I did want to, well, I'll tell you when it's my turn to introduce myself.
We're not gonna go around and introduce everybody,
Everyone tonight.
but we do have a
Oh, we're not.
part where
Oh.
you can take like, like a minute or two just to announce things or say things, make a comment.
Okay, great.
You do?
Oh, I know.
It does for a big room like this.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
45 people?
Man,
I know, that's the thing. That's why I'm always, it says 45, but I don't know if that also includes this area too. And I've never got a definitive answer from that.
Technically,
had a
that's not
meeting
official
earlier
because
today.
it's not signed by the fire department.
I know, because when we had that fiddle orchestra, the fiddle orchestra, that band alone was more than almost, it was almost 50.
You
So
made me think.
I just think that,
I think.
Yeah, that was good. But there's some things.
To keep the people for lunchtime, to keep it down to.
hey, Jim,
We got some things.
but it is good, you can sit anywhere here or anywhere near. Yeah, but it's also confusing when you get to the,
So Ronnie and Angela, we good over here?
Yeah,
If it was the fire department.
So far we got
Little
The fire
like,
chief,
yeah.
1, 2, 3.
true.
it's not signed by anybody.
Where's Bob?
Looking for board members.
Is Bob?
We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, we got a
Got
quorum.
quorum.
All right.
All right, ready to start, Tio? Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ward 3 Neighborhood Association March meeting. And I want to welcome everybody who's in person and also,
would you want to move, sorry, would you want to move over next to Emily? Cause I'm by
you're
the,
my, well, you're.
I'm in your
you're-
way.
You're hiding my stuff.
Okay. I could, yeah, let's do both. Let's do both.
Okay.
You good, you good.
Good. All right, welcome, everybody. We have a lot of stuff on our agenda today, and there are some things that we're gonna be voting on, so I ask that your indulgence, please, and cooperation. If I could go around at this point now, we will introduce our, that's mine. We'll introduce our board. And, at this point tonight, we won't introduce other people here. We may just give a call out. We're just gonna.
We're
introduce
just
ourselves.
introduce the board members. So why don't you go first? You've already said,
Hi, everybody. My name is Joella. They call me Jada Tarbutton-Springfield, even though I live in Northampton. And I live in this great palatial palace here tonight. And I'm also the acting president and hopefully the president with the voting tonight.
I'm Emily Stein, board member.
I'm Jim Nash, board member.
I'm David Edwards, board member.
Elect.
Elect.
No, he's on. No, he's official because the LTO sends the rep and that's who he is.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
And I'm Angela Santinello, just a board member.
Okay, and then we have,
Ronnie.
Ron,
Oh.
me.
oh yeah, go ahead.
I'm Ronnie Gold, board member and treasurer.
Okay, and it
Ron.
looks like we have Fred up there. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Fred Zimnock. I live in Ward 3. I've been a member of the Neighborhood Association for quite a few years. I think at one time in the early days, I was also the treasurer. And right now I live on Pomeroy Terrace in the historic district. Any questions?
So, Madam President, you have a quorum.
We have a quorum, so the meeting is starting. At this point, I would actually, Jim, I'd like for you to read the Ward neighborhood norms, if you could, please.
I'd be honored to.
Thank you.
Okay, the Ward 3 Neighborhood Association norms for our meetings. In order to begin and end on time, we will have a clear agenda for our meetings and stay on topic. We will attempt to discuss topics of relevance to everyone and reserve topics with a narrow focus for subcommittees or another time. We will show respect for each other by allowing one person to speak at a time and avoid side conversations and interrupting others. If we have an elephant discussion, something that's sensitive, we will attempt to provide advance notice or allot enough time in the agenda to address it effectively. Did I read that right?
You did.
All right. We will invoke the parking lot rule. Oh, yeah, the parking lot rule for topics that become too big and need to be tackled at a later time or by a subcommittee. We will show respect and courtesy by listening to others and choosing our words carefully and trusting that all present come with good intentions. As a result, at times, we will agree to. We recognize fostering a positive group dynamic is vital to sustaining our group. We understand that well-timed humor can be an effective way to ease tension or fears and refocus the group.
That's great. And thank you very much. And we just want to say, if we could in this meeting, everyone, Jim is the decorator today. He's designed it so we could be more conversational, communal. And so we also ask anytime anyone has to speak, if you want to stand up, that's one thing, but please do not walk towards people or go around the building.
Join us at the table if you have something to say.
I like that. Okay.
And I see, Bob, Bob, can you hear us?
Bob just came.
And so if you can unmute, you just gotta hit the unmute button and introduce yourself as a board member, right? Bob's a board member?
Yes.
All right.
Ex officio president.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect.
Great, happy to be here. Sorry it took me a while.
All good.
Glad you're here, Bob.
Thanks. Thank you. And I see there's a hand. Claudia Lefko, is that are you able to, just questioning if you, are you able to hear us, or do you have a question about the, like, introductions?
Hi, I hear. Well, I was wondering if you can have the camera on the person who's speaking, or that's not possible in this setup.
I don't know how to do it right now, and the technology is there, but no, that's why we sort of came a little closer. So we'll work on that.
Okay, thanks.
Like to see our-
This isn't the public comment time. I just wanted to know if that was possible. Is it public comment now or no?
Well, we are segueing into that now. It
Okay,
is-
I'll wait. I'll wait for you to get into the public call for it. I'll turn off now.
Well, actually, you could have went if you want to, but is there any?
Okay,
Go ahead, Claudia.
okay, very good. I wasn't actually going to come to the meeting but I wanted to say that I'm glad to see on the agenda the issue of the St. John Cantius and what's going to happen in the parking lot there. And then I'm curious, I'm not an active participant in the Ward 3 Association. And I'm not clear about what exactly the organization does anymore. But it seems it's been very hard. I don't know how things get on the agenda. Like, if people remember, when 107 William Street was being constructed, I came a number of times to the Ward 3 committee, the association, asking, for help, and nobody wanted to get involved. We have also these sidewalk issues that we're trying to work on for years. So how is it that the association decided to take up St. John Cantius, which is a big issue? But I guess my question is, like, what is the association's kind of agenda around the politics in the city? Because I think Quaverly was the president when I was coming around 107 Williams, and she basically, or people said to me, we're not about that. We're not about trying to help stall infill, or we're not about sidewalks. We're about, you were putting up the thing for Jerry over at Bridge Street School. So it's a very big question, but I think it's important because the association carries weight, so if things are coming out of the Ward 3 Neighborhood Association, people perk up more than if Claudia Lefko is coming up with something, or Mac Everett, not to leave him out of the conversation. So I'm just putting that out there, and good luck, Jada, with the election tonight. Maybe upping the technology can be your platform. Thanks, and thanks for the work. We need the association. Bye.
Can I
Thank you,
just,
sir.
can I just make a quick reply to Claudia? And what I suggest is that you go to the website, and our bylaws are on the website, and they tell you pretty much the forum and organization and mission of the organization. So that would be a good starting place.
And there, does it say how you get on the agenda?
No, it doesn't, but I mean, all you have to do is submit a request and see what happens.
I try. Okay, very good. Well, thanks,
Yeah.
Fred. Thanks.
Claudia, if I could just share, and for anyone else on the meeting, there's a couple other folks. We have a contact form. So previous leadership was in charge of that. And so now new leadership is, and I know that we've been tracking when folks have contacted us. Just this week, this last month, we received a couple, and it brought upon our next month's speaker about the new Tri-County Fair person. So the contact W3NA will go to everyone rather than just one person on the board. So it's
Yeah.
sort of like-
Okay. I mean, in the past, it was all public. It was mostly public comment. I was asking in public comment, but thanks. I assume it's Ronnie. You're half out of the photo, but I get that's you talking. Hi. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the help.
Thanks again. Is there anyone, we'll try to do online and then in person with public comments. Is there anyone?
There's only 6 people.
Yeah, I am.
You want to introduce yourself if that's possible?
I am Lisa. I live at the Walter Sabo apartment 627. I wanted to ask about whether the Ward 3 has checked into whether they have been able to work on working with her on working out about getting security within Walter Sabo, because lately we have been getting a lot of problems within the building, and I just don't feel safe. So I would like to see the security come back. Right now, Sarah is saying we can't afford it. So
I can speak to that a little bit. I went back and pulled the police reports for the last few months, and there has been no major reports in the last 3 months for any of this activity that was talked about last meeting or that she's talking about tonight. If somebody is feeling unsafe, they need to be calling the police and letting them know what's happening at that time so that the police can help us figure out what's going on in this building. Without the documentation, without everything in line, it's hard to do all of that. I do know that we are in the process of working through the court system for an eviction on one very, very problematic tenant at the moment. I do know that that's coming up next week, so hopefully some of these problems will be put at bay. But right now, if we look at all of the documentation, it's very difficult to say, okay, these are the problems we're having when there's nobody's calling and reporting those.
What floor is that on?
I can't talk about what tenant it is or which is involved.
Okay, hold on 1 second, please, if you don't mind. Lisa, did you want to follow up? And then Michael David, if you want to go next, and I want to say something about that subject.
What Angela has just commented on. I reported a couple of incidences to the police, and they in return have told me to go to housing. Housing has told me to go to the police. So I'm getting shuffled back and forth like a tennis ball. So I don't know where to go at this point. So
That's
Thank
when
you.
you get the
Oh.
LTO involved and they will help you communicate it with housing and try to get it resolved.
Okay, can we go sort of being recognized, Michael David?
I don't believe that statement was completely accurate because there have been numerous incidents, even with the police here, and to where the police got in, almost got into physical confrontations with people. Why they were not, continually allowed to come back is beyond me. Why the housing hasn't gotten a report from the police, from the illegal activity while the police were here,
I haven't seen that
okay,
either.
is obsolete to me. Now they're going to court tomorrow without the report from the police that they paid to be here. Why they're doing that? It's an ongoing process. We got to keep trying to pursue a solution to it and not just make it like it's not here.
Yeah, and if I could, I wanted to speak on that. And I do, actually, I want to offer apology. In my comments last month, I mentioned for us not to try to take these issues with people coming in and out, not to do that, not to try, we're not the police. And I use Keystone Cop, meaning don't go in there and get yourself in danger. Just before this meeting started, there was almost a conflict and almost rose into a physical confrontation because somebody was talking to somebody, and I understand the frustration, but it really, if we could just cool the temperatures with these things. I know these things are frustrating. I live here too, I know. But to confront anyone about that is not a very good idea. So let's just think about that. I know it seems frustrating because we are doing that. And I do recognize what you said about feeling shuffled like a tennis ball. Good example. I do feel that sometimes, but I do think that this is something that we could bring and have a later discussion on here as a Ward 3, get our input on this as well. Okay,
I just want to say, we are still in public comment.
we are. Are we
And
now? Oh, not
that,
announcements. Okay.
and that we did ask this question of the mayor when we met with her, and her answer was actually kind of brief, that, you know, essentially that, did we just lose people?
No.
Oh, that, the chief of police is working with the NHA to, you know, help with matters in the building. And that it sounds like there's some sort of disconnect here, you know, that, and that the Ward 3 Association can keep asking about this. We're not an enforcement agency, but we are a group that is interested in our community and ask questions of people. We can get answers, and maybe a future speaker for next month is we invite
Chief Carpet,
Chief Cartlidge.
I'll put that on. I got my welcome letters. Okay. Also, do you want to talk about what was said with the mayor right now?
Well, I have it later in the
Okay,
meeting.
we could do it later. Okay. That was addressed, and we'll go through this. Are we still in comments? Are we now going into announcement?
I think we're still in public comment.
Public
If there's
comment, then
anybody
comes
who-
questions.
Anybody there online?
Any other public comment online or?
I think, and then we have John in the room. Oh, I'm sorry.
And then, John, did you have any public comment?
Yes, it's, like I mentioned last month, that, everybody talking about the riffraff coming into Salvo, but they have to pass through Ward 3. If you have a child that's playing outside, hey, come here, I got something for you nice to taste. So it doesn't affect the people that's just in here. It affects the people in Ward 3, period.
Good point. Thank you.
They have to go through Ward 3 to get there. So you're just as much at risk as we are.
Everybody heard that? Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is. Jerry or Jim, would you like to say something? No? All right. Well, guys, now can we segue into announcements? If that's all okay. All right, I'm gonna mention about this, and it's, one resident of Salvo will be very happy. There's the FNT, that is the Friends of the Northampton Trails. They will be having on Saturday, March 29th, 9 to noon. They will, it's a cleanup. It's a cleanup, is it all Ward 3 or just, yeah.
It's citywide and Ward 3 is encouraged to join in. And if there are particular areas that people are interested in seeing cleaned up, like underpasses, portions of the levee, things, there's some trash piled up on Pleasant Street. Let us know and we'll let Friends of Northampton Trails know and they will make efforts to focus on it.
Thank you for that. Well, I know myself, a Salvo resident who's been looking forward to this, so count me in.
Yeah, they're looking for volunteers, so let us know about that.
March 29th. Any other announcements, guys?
Kelsey has joined us.
Kelsey,
Kelsey, you want to say hi? Or maybe she might be
Yeah, we'll see.
dealing with children.
I do have one other announcement then. Northampton Neighbors Inclusion Committee will be having a organized trip to International Food Market, also known as Ethnic Food Market. So we're having the cars. This is a maiden voyage, a trial run, and we'll be going to the International Food Belmont in Springfield. And it would be great. If anybody want to come join us, you're more than welcome to come join us. There's so far about 4 people. If there wasn't any signs up yet because it was still deciding, and if this goes well, Northampton Neighbors will also try to include it. So I think it'll be really great where people can come. I know I've been through a few places, one in Holyoke, and I think I felt like I was back in Central America and all the foods and what you could do. It was a really great experience. And then there's food, this place that we're going, and also the one in Holyoke. So I think that's a great thing. Residents here had been asking about that. And so it looks like it's going to come. So it's going to be this Saturday, 2:00. If you're interested, just let me know. But I already got some people, about 6 people so far. So we're going to have everything from Swedish meatballs to Irish soda bread, pig feet and chitlins. Don't be scared. All right.
I think maybe the last announcement, I should have done this in the beginning. For those of you online, Bob or Fred, just because I see your faces, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. I just want to make sure everyone online and in the room knows that we do record our meetings, so that we can then share them out to the community if they want to watch them. So the meeting is being recorded and transcribed, just in case anyone needed to know that.
Thank you, Ron.
Okay. I wondered if you could also have the agenda. Is that available? So aside, what is that? Double view, plain view?
Yep, right on
Okay.
the side there for us
Okay.
at least.
Okay, good enough. Okay, are we done with announcements? Guys online?
Yep.
Fred doesn't have an announcement? Bob, okay. Not to put anybody on the spot. So then next we'll segue into candidate announcements. And we had a discussion of proposed Ward 3 Neighborhood Association candidate announcement. All right, Jim, could you read the,
So we were contacted last month by, Deb Henson is interested in running, and she wanted to make an announcement at this meeting, and we realized that we could have a slew of candidates coming to our meetings to make announcements, and it would be good if we had a policy around what that's going to look like, so we're not favoring any particular candidate. And, but we want to promote people coming here and sharing their views as to why they're running for elected office. And also with the intention that at some later date, we will have some sort of event where candidates can, share more and interact with people. So we came up with this. I drafted this along with Jada and Ronnie and Bob, and it's been shared. You didn't get it. You didn't get it yet.
Draft proposed.
All right, but I will read it
you
now.
want to read it?
Okay.
It's right over here. The one in the minutes.
Yeah, it's right there. It's right there on the agenda. The Ward 3 Neighborhood Associations welcomes any and all candidates to announce their intention to run for elected office at our monthly board meetings. Time for such announcements will be set aside after public comment, just like we are right here. Candidates will be allowed up to 5 minutes of time to make a statement. Time for questions and answers will not be allowed during or after the candidate's announcement. As as the W3NA will work to organize an opportunity for such discourse prior to the 2025 election in November. Candidates will be allowed one opportunity to make an announcement prior to the election. It's like, if you say you're going to run for one thing 1 month and then another thing next month, you don't get 2 bites at the apple. And as a courtesy, we ask the candidates for elected office inform us of their intention to make an announcement prior to the meeting. And Deb contacted Ronnie to let us know that she's not going to be here tonight, but she may be here next week, and we'll have a policy in place. I'm putting this on the floor for a vote, so we formally have this as a board. If I'm asking for a second from somebody on the floor.
second that.
I have a question.
Me too.
Okay, and then,
Can I have
so
a
now it's
second?
on the floor, and then,
Question,
then,
Emily, I did discussion, sure, and I have one as well.
We make sure it's consistent with our bylaws in the sections and such.
Good question.
cool.
Yeah,
Like the
Bob is our,
section, that I did last.
oh, you
Yeah.
did. Your section. Okay, yeah.
Absolutely, it is consistent. One thing that we have done for many years in the past is to sponsor forums for candidates before the election. We never take any sides. We try to get all the information possible out there, give people the best opportunity they can have to make their case to the public. So we encourage people to run and try to give them a venue to do that, but we don't take any positions at all about who's the better candidate or who we're for or not for. Strictly nonpartisan.
It's not typing.
Is there something you were thinking of, Emily, from the bylaws?
Just like the sections and it's just a grammatical thing. It's not anything
I got you.
really
Okay.
important that we need to talk about here.
Does it
Okay.
have to do with this document right here?
Yeah, because if we're adding this to the bylaws, I would like it to be grammatical.
We're not,
If I were,
we can't add it to the bylaws. We have no power as a board to change the bylaws. Only the members of the association at the annual meeting can change the bylaws. All we're doing here is putting in place a policy that we will use for this year and in the future for local elections. It's not a
Okay.
bylaw change.
Okay, thank you.
One of my questions is, we made an announcement of a candidate last month. I know it's on the,
Is that what you're?
it's on the, audio, video, and I didn't, get that, and I didn't want, that was before we made this law, or even voting on it, and I didn't want to make that be the one and done for that person.
no, that was somebody in the room and said that somebody is running.
Right.
And that was just information put out to the room. That, and I don't think there was promotional things said about that candidate. It was just sharing information. So I don't even remember what that candidate.
It was someone probably for, 3, city council, I thought.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And, we got a hand from Fred.
Yeah, I have a question about this policy concerning the candidates. Would the prospective candidates appear all together at one of our meetings? Or they would just
No.
appear at random when they have an opportunity to come to our meetings?
I assume, Fred, that they would come when they're ready to announce it to our association and the public. And then whatever we set, when the field is full, we can then set up any kind of forum we want to help people get their message out to the public. But that'd be a whole different special event sponsored by us and anybody else who wants to sponsor it.
So are you saying that the candidates for the 5-minute talk would come on an individual basis to any meeting or all together?
No, whenever they want. Maybe they would come together because they'd all show up at the same time, but there's no rule it would have to be that way.
Okay,
That
thank
makes
you.
sense?
And we do just ask as a courtesy, it has in there that they let us know ahead of time so we can just plan for it in the agenda.
And I do agree with, Bob. We did have an annual meeting once. Candidates did speak, but I'd like that to be a little, more organized in the sense. I know our speaker went out, but in some ways I could barely hear the candidates because there was some side talking there. So I hope that we can get that a little streamlined. I welcome it, and I do agree with that. You had a question with that?
Yeah, it would be great if we could have the same, like the annual meeting, to have all the candidates talk about their positions. And
I don't
such.
think that's right. I think that the annual meeting has its own agenda, which is different than promoting the local elections and encouraging citizen comment and discussion about political issues. Annual meeting has its own things it has to do, and they will happen about the same time because of how the calendar is. But I don't think we should try to combine them.
Well, you know what? We'll tackle that when it gets
That's
close.
right. We don't know that. That's right.
2 years ago, we had our annual meeting. It was at a tent on, near Bridge Street School.
Yeah, you're right.
Made statements,
Yep.
and that was part of
That's right.
we could try something like that again, maybe.
Yeah, maybe you're maybe right, Jim. I was too hasty in my statements.
Yes, you remember. I mean, not that, but the candidates. Okay, I think Hannah's on. I want to welcome her, but we're still going through.
Well,
So
I think
can we
we-
put this to a vote?
Yeah.
So, okay, you want to rephrase it, Jim?
Is
Sorry, even.
there any, I'm fine with it as it is. Did you want to change like a word or
No,
something?
no, it's fine. I could, when we.
I'm not good. I'm
No,
sometimes.
no, I was just being ridiculous.
Is that for yay? Is that? what
I
you're
was,
saying?
I was saying third.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the third.
Okay.
Okay, so all in favor say,
Bye.
Any abstentions? Any no's?
okay, so
So
it's
it
a
passes.
unanimous and also, and I'll count up who's part of the vote here.
Right.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Are there
Um,
any candidate announcements? 'Cause that's on.
Well, that is on the agenda. Well, we just said Deb Henson, who used to be our former president of Ward 3 Neighborhood Association before she left us. She's not here today. Is there anybody in there or here or there who are planning on running for anything? They'd like to make an announcement, a candidate announcement?
Or it could be done in a future meeting.
I am not running. It's Kelsey. But what is Deb running for? We keep saying she's a candidate, but can we know what she's a candidate for? Or
She
no?
shared with us she is interested in running at large,
Yes.
city council.
Ah, got it. Thank you.
Sorry, I thought that was on there, on the thing, but no.
Yeah, I'd taken it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so,
Can I
So-
just,
Oh.
sure, go ahead, please.
well, I am running, but I don't want this to be my announcement. I'll do it some other time when I give you advance notice. My name's Laurie Loisel and I'm running for Ward 3.
Maybe this is what we're talking about.
Thank you.
I think, okay, thank you very much. All right. So guys, it's all voted. And now we want to go into, if we go moving right along, next we go into the treasurer's report.
Yes.
Okay. Ron,
So for our treasurer's report, we had an increase of $9.22
Whoa.
because
Oh,
a new member joined and paid the $10 annual fee. That brought our PayPal up by $9.22. Our checking stayed at $333.14. Our savings at $197.01 for a total balance of $539.37. We have an upcoming expense due, and I was hoping to do in the treasurer's report if we have time. But if-
Go ahead.
please.
yeah. So, well, we have the PO box due for $192. And all I know that we're getting from there is our bank bills, which can be electronic. So I'm not sure if we want to, I don't know. I have not seen anything come from the PO box in about 2 years that was not just bank related. So it might, we have $539 right now. We pay $200 or so to our PO box. That's a large chunk of our available money. Yeah, it's $192 for the year. A
you
year.
recommend we get rid of the PO box? Is that right?
Yeah, we would see what life is like for a year without the PO box.
I move we accept the treasurer's report and get rid of the PO box.
I second.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody feel like we need to?
Any more discussion?
Well,
Go ahead.
I have a separate, I don't get my mail here and I pay myself for mail. And if anyone wanted to bring it there, it's a street address, but it's
Yeah.
yes.
So that's the other option. We could have the organization be somebody's own residential address in case we wanted to put one on there for some reason. But I did some research on it, and anything that we'd have to set up an account, we would need to have a street address, not a PO box.
Well, mine has a street address.
Right. So
I'm volunteering. If you want it, if not, that's okay. We can discuss it more, but
okay, so that's one of the issues with the PO box is if anything federal, or if we ended up being a nonprofit, we would need an actual street address anyway, and the PO box would be
But we'd figure that out.
right at the
What
time.
if we went through all of that effort?
All right. Fred's got a hand.
Yeah, I just have a question. If we're going to close out the, PO box, I believe we have to return the 2 keys. Do we know where the 2 keys are?
We do. There are people who are the key masters, and I will get their keys, and our bill that was due, we won't pay.
Frodo is the keeper of the.
Yes, so that the bill is due, and rather than resubmitting for a year, we'll just close it out and pass in the keys.
Yeah.
okay.
All right, so then we'll try for this year, no PO box, and if for some reason we need one, we'll re-up it.
Great.
Okay.
Do we have to fix the website? I think the PO box is on a website, isn't it?
It
Yes,
should be.
it is, and so that's the, well, I guess that would be the issue if someone wanted to mail in a check. That is yet to happen. Any checks have been dropped off in my mailbox by neighbors. They ask, where could I give it? And they just drop it off in the mailbox. So, that's a good point, Fred. I'll update the website. All right, so that's the treasurer's report. Accepted, it sounds like.
Accepted, that I heard.
Yeah,
There
so
was a no, there was a
did we
nay.
do a vote?
Did we do a
Well,
vote?
oh, sorry, one last thing on the treasury report. I'm gonna be updating our account with Google to save us. There's another version I saw that'll save us some money. It'll go down from like 16 to like 8 or 10. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I'll have more info for the next meeting on that. So
Wow, what a treasure.
we'll just, we signed up for more than we actually need, so it's an even cheaper. version.
Pinch those pennies.
There you go,
Like that.
$539.
That's a good treasure.
$539. All right,
Okay,
so next we're up to,
So now we're gonna, yes, ma'am?
Third,
for the accepting the treasury report.
yeah.
Yes, I thought we all voted, but,
Yep.
All in favor, say.
all in favor?
Any
Aye.
opposed?
Who, no?
No, that's an aye. Jeez.
And no abstentions? Okay, guys, good. So treasurer's report is duly accepted. Okay, so recording of the 2/11 meeting, vote to accept. Did we have to vote for that?
For the minute, I don't think we had to do that for the minutes. I think we just,
I think we just acknowledged it. How about this? We acknowledge we have a recording.
Yep. That's right.
A, I did the transcript.
And
Yep.
hey, I did.
The recordings are placed on a website?
Yes,
yep, they're in the meeting agenda minutes folder.
it was a little difficult for me to find it, but I did find it.
Uh,
Yes, Kathy.
Kathy's got a hand.
Yeah, I had a question whether or not somebody looks over the AI transcription, because I find sometimes it may not be totally as we'd like it to be. Does somebody just kind of look it over and make sure it makes sense?
Well,
Who do you nominate, Kathy, to do that?
You're a good
No, I
secretary
don't
for that.
know. I don't know, because what I've done, the thing about with a national organization I'm on, we do it, but it's Zoom. We do the transcript, but as the secretary, I go through that, but that's something else, but I don't know. I'm just asking people what, if they read it and stuff like that, is it, reflects what went on in the meeting?
well, I think if somebody says something that they feel is important, they should take on the responsibility of looking to make sure
Okay,
their comments are correct.
okay, that's fine.
Do we have is it a transcriptionist? Can we get do we?
Yeah, it does both. So the links there you'll see are to the recording and then to the transcript, and it is
Okay.
in a doc. There's always the option to just get rid of the transcript and have the video recording, and then
Yeah.
we won't have to worry about a conflict of AI.
Okay.
The other thing too is that the transcript appears as the caption. So I'm looking at the transcript right now on the screen.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, it need be, I'll look at it. For some reason, I'm one of those people who are interested in transcripts and what people say and what people write, so.
Okay.
I'll peruse That.
Okay, that's all. I was just asking.
Kathy?
Jim, you had your hand up?
Thank you, President. So I like having them both because, so if you want to search through something real quick to see what something, somebody said at some point, you don't have to go through the whole video to hear, what somebody said. It'll tell you where in the recording, and then you can go back and you can say, oh, that's actually what somebody said. And so I think having both is helpful.
Okay, so we'll keep them both in. I like-
Is video, I haven't looked, is the video closed captioning?
It is, yes.
Okay, just wondering, because the transcript could be beneficial to people that don't.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
Yeah. All right, so we'll keep both of them. And I do think, Fred, did you say it wasn't, the recording did not have a closed caption under it?
No, I'm looking at the captions right now, and I assume these captions that I'm looking at are what appears in the transcript.
There you go. Yes, perfect. So he's saying this meeting has a closed caption on his end.
Yeah, I'm
And so-
looking at it.
Perfect. Thanks, Fred.
Thank you guys for bringing that up. Great conversation here. Thank you both. Okay, guys, moving along. Right now, we usually it's 8 o'clock, but we had on our agenda for our speakers. One person will not be able to make it. She's been tabled or rescheduled for April, but we do have a person in the audience now who's, I'm excited to hear what she has to say. If we want to do this right now, guys, if this is okay.
Yeah?
All right.
Yes, you
So, her name is Hannah Cox, and I have talked with her a couple of times. She seems amazing, and I just even heard some more good stuff about you from Priya at the library. So I'm really impressed with you. So, guys, she's with the Northampton Open Media. I think is digital literacy. So Hannah, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi, everyone. I'm glad to be in this meeting. Hi, Kathy. I just learned that Kathy's one of my neighbors.
Yay.
I am the digital navigator at Northampton Open Media. We are located in Ward 3B, and I'm a resident of Ward 3B as well. So I'm glad to also represent that. So I want to explain my position and what I do in the community. So my position is a grant-funded position here at NOM, which is an abbreviation for Northampton Open Media. And my position is funded by the Alliance for Digital Equity. The Alliance is a Western Mass coalition of community-based organizations that promotes digital literacy, digital skills training, helping people get devices, and helping people get affordable internet. So through a grant from the Alliance for Digital Equity, I was placed at Northampton Open Media to connect our residents in Northampton to those services. And one of the primary ways that I do this is through drop-in hours in our office. When I'm done talking, I'm going to put some links and things in the chat so that everyone can reference them. On Mondays, I do drop-in hours at Forbes Library, 1 to 2:30. And anyone can just, show up and get tech help. And then in our office at 33 Hawley Street, which is the community arts building here in town, on Tuesday evenings from 5 to 8 p.m., I do drop-in tech help, which is currently going on right now. I saw someone earlier this evening. And then Thursdays from 1 to 5 p.m. Again, I'll put a flyer in there for you. And this is a free service, and people can come in with their devices, their questions, their phones. And, I see people of all different levels. And I try to connect them, and we work through and troubleshoot the issues. I have extreme patience, so we can work through some issues. I also work with Council on Agings. I'm partnered with some in the Hill Towns and soon the Hatfield Council on Aging to provide drop-in services or classes and workshops. And really, it's community networking is a lot of what I do. And so if an organization comes to me and says, hey, our residents really need help with iPhone basics, I could work with them to create a class. One of the ways that I got on everyone's radar here was through a computer class that we're offering at NOM. It's through an organization called Tech Goes Home, which is based out in Boston. And the premise of this organization is it's a 15-hour class. And after 15 hours of coursework, participants will receive a Chromebook and a year of free internet. And so people that don't have a device or they're struggling to pay their internet bill, and they need to know how to use their device, it's a perfect combination for these people. And so we've partnered with Tech Goes Home to offer some of these classes to people. It's for adults, and it's targeted towards beginners. And so a while back, I had sent an email blast out to our community partners regarding it. And it's a 10-week course. I'm the instructor for the course. It's a 10-week course, and it's a big commitment. It's a weekly commitment from 6 to 7:30. And I wasn't expecting people to be interested in it because of the time commitment. But as of today, I've had over 80 people reach out to me from the food pantry, from housing authorities, from Center for New Americans. All these people are reaching out because our community needs these resources. Our community are filled with people who don't have devices. And so I'm currently going to be hosting 2 of these classes. I have a long waiting list. And so not everybody is going to be able to get into these classes, unfortunately. But after the series of 10 weeks courses conclude, I will be working on some one-off classes and workshops to cater to the people that do want to, beef up their digital skills. They're always welcome to come to our drop-in hours. I do know an update for everyone. Jada had requested an update regarding the Salvo apartments. A while back, NOM helped to install a TV and Zoom setup so residents could attend meetings like this. And this is done through an ARPA grant. My
You're right now, Hannah.
Say what?
We're using that equipment right now.
See, that's awesome. And my supervisor, Al Williams, the director of NOM, he was the one, and he currently is the one that's leading up the efforts over at Salvo Apartments. And he is currently in the process of purchasing a series of desktop PCs to create a computer lab. I'm not sure of the timeline on that. That's a project that he's working on separately from myself. But I can tell you that he's probably going to put in some pretty powerful PCs. We're techie over here. So I anticipate the residents there and people coming through will have access to really great computers. So I'm going to open it up for questions from y'all, if you have any.
I have a question.
Mhm.
And I wish someone from Northampton Neighbors Inclusion Committee was on this. There is one woman, Nina Wilder. She's been researching things like crazy, asking questions, and she was with some Mass Alliance Technology Internet thing. I don't know the exact, and I apologize for not knowing everything exactly, but she was talking about funds that had been received in Northampton and for computer and digital literacy. Because, for example, in public housing, it would be nice to have all the areas with Wi-Fi. Supposedly, I'm told that it's supposed to be in the common areas, but I think it's been in the making. I know I did speak to some people regarding North Adams who have in their public housing, they have made it Wi-Fi a public utility. And I keep hearing we're in that process, but as Nina reported to the group, it has not been official. And I think she spoke to a person named Luigi. And he doesn't know, but he's know that the money has been dispensed. So I guess I'm asking, where is the money? And when and where that this will happen. And I didn't know if you knew about any of that as well. Yeah, all in our
I think I have heard the same thing circulating that you have. That is not something that I'm directly involved in. But I have heard of a push for, Wi-Fi to be included in with public housing because for it to be considered like a basic human need as well. But I don't have an update on that.
Hannah, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that part of the plan also to do a Wi-Fi amplifier here in this room here so that when they're using the computers, et cetera, they'll be able to have Wi-Fi in the community room?
I am not entirely sure of the scope of the plans that Al is working on. So I don't have an answer for that.
Good, careful answer.
Are you running for an office?
We got Kelsey with a hand on the screen.
Thank you. Yeah, I have two quick questions. This is really awesome, Hannah, and thank you for coming and telling us all this cool stuff. So for the classes that currently have 80 plus people interested, is there an age requirement, like a minimum, or it could be like somebody under 18 could sign up, or?
They can be 16 and older to sign up.
16, okay.
But it can be a person of any age. The primary people that have been signing up are mainly older adults. I have seen a few people maybe college age sign up, but the demographic typically skews older for this.
Okay.
People of all.
And are they in person?
Yes.
The classes?
Yes.
Yeah, obviously, right, because how would they be zooming in if they didn't have a device? Cool. And second, about the drop-in classes or the drop-in support, is it software help, like when it comes to like the tech, any kind of support? Is it if somebody was like making a movie or an audio recording and was having trouble editing and stuff?
Yeah, so those kind of people can come in, and that's more than welcome. If someone was working on making a podcast, that's something that more aligns with the other resources that we have at NOM, where you can book out equipment and we can help you through your production of a short film, a podcast.
Oh, okay.
So we can do that. But people coming in for drop-in help, any issue is welcome. This evening, I had a lady, she needed help logging back into her email account. The other day at the library, I was helping someone upload photos to Dropbox. I've helped people set up new smartphones and back things up to the cloud. So if you have a problem with any kind of device that you have, just people are welcome to bring it in. And no issue is too small. Because, people are at all different levels.
Great. Thank you very much.
Of course.
I have a announcement was along the same lines. As I told you today, I spoke to the reference, is it Priya at the Forbes Library References? And she sent and informed me that they are having, I got a Chrome notebook from them. I went through their training and it was pretty fantastic. And I learned a lot, but they're having it again, but they're working with Tech Foundry and their digital skills workshop. It starts, it's twice a month until June 2nd. And it starts Monday, March 17th through June 2nd from noon to 1:15 at the Forbes Library. And some of the classes that they're having starts computer basics, internet basics, Google Chrome, email basics, social media basics, online safety basics. Now, with this flyer, and I can send it, if we can put it on our website, it doesn't say you'll get a free laptop, a what is it, Chrome notebook, because they haven't gotten that official yet. But usually by the time it ends, they're anticipating it. So that's the only reason why it's not put here. So I'm just saying, guys, we're, in my opinion, we're so lucky in Northampton here to have people and agencies that are here trying to help us with computers, I mean, and all the information. And so if people are interested, because I know your group is full, and then you have a very long waiting list. People want that internet free. And I think I should retroactively get a free internet because I went through this training, but no, I'm just so very happy. And she did talk about you coming and volunteering in the Forbes Library. So I think this is all pretty wonderful stuff. So if anybody's interested, I'll make sure I will give it to Ronnie and he'll put it on our website. And this is happening starting next week on the 17th. Sorry, go ahead.
I have one quick question for Hannah, because I'm thinking we want to move on, but Hannah, thank you for all of this. Who is it we should be thanking for having you here tonight? Should we be sending a note to Al? Who else should we be saying thank you for, NOM services?
I will put a link in the chat. I realize I don't think I can put attachments in the chat. I guess I'm the tech person and I should figure it out. But I would thank the Alliance for Digital Equity. They are the people that have funded my job. The director is Kathy Bisbee. She is an excellent force and has really helped Western Mass in terms of tech accessibility. And you can, on the website, you can find their contact information.
That's great. Thank
All right.
you.
Well, we're very happy you were here. And thank you, guys. Can we give her a little hand?
Yep.
Thank you.
What,
All right.
Hannah, can I, sorry, just have a really quick question. Jada shared a flyer. Are you the digital navigator? Is that the word for it?
That is my job title. So yes.
Okay, so that just because this flyer is going up by the school, so then we could say, yeah, it's a person. It's not didn't know if it was like a tech thing, but it's a person.
Is it the flyer for the drop-in hours or for the class?
I just sent you what was going on.
This one?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah, share that one.
All right, cool. So she had shared that with me and we just gonna print it out. It'll be up by the Bridge Street School.
Oh, awesome.
And then the last, sorry, I know we're on time, but you said it was full. I mean, should we tell people they could still sign up? It'll be like once next year, it'll keep going. Like, is this something you foresee slots opening up eventually, or?
I don't. I'm hosting a class starting in March, a class starting in April. I do not anticipate us doing more Tech Goes Home classes. Last year, the Alliance had bought a set number of spots for these classes, and I don't think they're going to be redoing that. If people are still contacting me, if they contact me, I'll add them to the wait list. And I'm also going to be using that wait list of if they have an email address, I can directly email them about future classes and workshops I'll be hosting. And if it's a one-off class or workshop, there's not going to be like a capacity limit. But I'll make sure that, the people that have previously been interested, they know first about a new class that's coming up.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Hannah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Kelsey, did you have another follow-up there with the hand?
Where's the hand?
Maybe she didn't put her hand down. Oh, who knows? Okay, we can move on unless.
Is there any other questions online, guys?
No, sorry, that was that.
All right, again, thank you.
I keep trying to take it down. Keeps popping up. Okay, nothing.
Okay, guys.
Thank you,
All
Hannah.
right,
All right.
Thanks,
Thanks for having me. I'm going to go home and have dinner.
But you're always welcome to come here. You can even join us at Ward 3 too. Be a part of the neighborhood association.
All right. Thank you all so much.
Thanks.
Okay, guys, moving right along, we're going to go into the discussion of the O'Connell Development Group project on Howley Street. That's on the agenda, guys.
It is. And so, Claudia asked about this earlier.
Yeah.
Why is this here? So, O'Connell Development Group contacted us through our email list and asked that we share with the association that they were holding this meeting several weeks ago. And we got it out on the listserv. We felt like it was an important neighborhood meeting that they wanted to have. I was unable to make the meeting. And so I'd like to hear board members' thoughts on did any board members attend the meeting? Fred, did you?
I did.
Okay.
Fred and Bob and
Yeah.
And Kathy?
Kathy?
Was that?
Yeah, so why don't we, one of you, kick us off?
Well, I can tell you, what I saw. Hang on a minute. The apartments are gonna be 54 units. The building is 5 stories tall or 51 feet. It's gonna be market rate studio, 1 and 2 bedrooms. And the first floor has parking for 25 cars. The corner of the building is lobby, and the roof has a deck, I assume for picnicking or something. And she noted, Sarah Stein, the representative from ODG, said that the church is 55 feet tall and the bell tower of the church is 91 feet. So that gives you some perspective relative to the new building. The new apartments have controlled entry. ODG did a traffic study and found that there's no degradation in traffic due to the apartments. The engineer of record was John Furman, and the new apartments actually sort of straddles central business and residential zone, so there's no off-site parking requirements. The other thing that came up at the meeting was that the St. John Cantius Church will not have 10 new apartments, but will actually be offices for ODG during the building of the new apartments. And later, the church will have amenities for the residents of the new apartment building on Holly Street. And that's about all I got from the meeting. Any questions?
Fred, how many parking spaces?
25?
25.
About half of the number of apartments.
Right, and his rationale, the rationale we heard was because, we live close to downtown, people either gonna be biking or taking the buses and stuff, there won't be a need for cars. That was what the implication or the inference I took from that.
And that's not unlike the proposal on State Street below St. Mary's Church, where a different developer proposed to develop about 70 new apartments
Right,
with about parking for half that many cars. Right, again, on a border of the zoning, central business
Right.
zoning.
right.
Well, I think anybody that, rents an apartment in downtown, they're gonna have to consider parking. And they'll have to know whether they have a reserved parking space or not. And if they don't, they'll have to find off-street parking.
Exactly.
And when it snows, you have to figure that out.
Yeah.
I know about that.
Mhm.
How many attended the meeting?
What they said about the parking was it'd be available for people in the building who could buy a space. That I don't know how many spaces. It's gonna be first come, first serve in the building. So I don't know if they would sell 40 spaces and only have room for 25. I just don't know how they'll organize the selling of the spaces, but there certainly will not be spaces for a car for every unit.
One thing that I found a
Right.
little puzzling afterward was the fact that I thought they would have some parking for bicycles.
Before you get to the post office.
And that wasn't mentioned. And also, I thought
Right.
they should say something about charging stations for electric vehicles. That wasn't mentioned. So I
I'm
think
sure
the
we would
plan
do the
right
latter,
now,
Fred.
the plan is really rough right now.
Yeah. And the units there will be bigger than the new apartments on State Street. But the new apartments on State Street, one way they're getting a lot of units in a relatively small building is to make the units like 300 or 350 square feet. Tiny, tiny apartments. That's
Oh,
not
like
the
New
case
York.
on Holly Street. That's what they're doing proposing up on State and Elm.
That's like a.
Jim was wondering, he had asked how many people attended the meeting.
I said there were about 30.
Yeah, 30, maybe, no more
Yeah.
than 50, certainly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm glad you guys were there.
So my question to the board is, what, if anything, should we do around this particular project in terms of getting information out? Should we just simply be tracking it as it goes through the planning board, which is where it will go next?
I think we should continue to make information available to the public about public hearings at the planning board or anywhere else about this project. We shouldn't take a side. We should let people know what's going to happen.
Well, I mean, there's been a number of things at the meeting that I think people were concerned about.
Absolutely.
Most people thought the building was ugly. And it didn't have any sort of character for the neighborhood. And our neighborhood, by the way, is a historic neighborhood. And we have all sorts of historic buildings, historic architecture that's really remarkable. And what they're putting up is basically a box.
Block. It's a block.
And the building up on State Street it suffers from the same problems. It's in the middle of half a dozen spectacular old buildings, and it doesn't begin to reflect the architectural heritage of that area.
I mean, one of the things about saving the church was saving the church allowed us to have a historic building. If they had put up the apartment house or the condo building that they wanted to, it was a dreadful looking building. Maria Tomasco couldn't say enough bad things about it.
So, so my thoughts are, in terms of time, that we continue to have this on the agenda for next meeting. And we also make efforts to put out any information about public meetings. And I'll say this, that if everybody's in the room to have this discussion, I think it'll be better. Because watching you guys on TV, it's like watching like a political channel, you know?
And I think the other thing we might do, Jim, is reach out to O'Connell Development Group and say, if you have information you want the public to see, please let us know. We will share it with our listserv. That doesn't mean we're endorsing it. We want to hear what they want to tell people, and then we can let people know where to go to say yay or nay.
Did they speak of future meetings or presentations potentially?
Only the process they'll have to go through.
Okay.
I just have a quick question. We can talk about this a little later. You mentioned that the St. John's Church, you said that they were not going to be 10 apartments. They were going to be something to it. I got a little confused.
Yes, the St. John's Cantius Church had intended to have something like 10 apartments in it. That's been discontinued at the present time. ODG will have their offices in St. John Cantius Church during the building process of the apartment. And then thereafter, the church will be dedicated to amenities that are available to the residents of the apartment house.
And the condos, I expect too, Fred, maybe.
Well, he didn't say condos, but they
I
did.
know
say
he didn't. I
apartments.
expect
Because
maybe.
people also asked if those amenities, I'm not sure, gym, blah, 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 if they be open possibility to the neighborhood, and there was no response to that.
I thought they said no, but I may be
I
wrong.
think they did.
Okay, I guess I was wrong. Sorry.
I see Kelsey has one before we go to, I guess, our next item on the agenda, right? Kelsey's hands back up unless that was a
Yeah.
fake out.
No, that is intentional. So what is the next? This was just like which number public meeting before they make decisions or move forward? Like what's the next step in the process?
Good question. So the policy of the planning department is when people are putting a proposal forward before the planning board, they request that they have a public meeting, that they make an effort to reach out to neighbors to share the proposal before it goes to planning board.
And this was that meeting.
That's what this was. And that O'Connell made an effort and rented space at 33 Hawley right across the street to accommodate folks.
So the next event will be a planning meeting board with the planning board. So if you're interested in this project, you should appear at the planning board.
Okay, thank you.
And my
Okay, good.
recall is that they said that they would start building in the fall or spring, and they expected a period of 18 to 24 months for building.
Right. And there was some talk about where they're gonna be, you know, obviously because right now they use that lot to store equipment and all the work, so I know, Murray Wechter asked where they're gonna be storing their equipment, doing things, when they're coming in and or working in their neighborhood or that part of the neighborhood. So.
And there
They
was a
said they were
good
aware of
discussion
that,
about
and they
using
might
that
have to
area
do it
in the
offsite.
back for marshaling and all their equipment. And they said by the end of the meeting that they would not use the space back above the new condominiums
Right,
for for supporting that construction on
Yeah.
the lot. They said they wouldn't use that.
right.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Tell you.
Okay, guys, sorry. We will
Mhm.
please continue with this conversation or some
Excellent.
variation thereof. Thank you for this. I do want to segue into Fred's, what are you laughing at? MCC report update?
Yeah, at the moment, I don't have anything to report this month. It's been kind of quiet. I expect with the warmer weather, I should have a detailed report next month.
Okay.
Okay, good enough. All right. Okay, so next, we're talking about the Salvo House LTO report. David Michael Edwards.
Hey, Walter Salvo House LTO is looking forward to working with the Ward 3 Neighborhood Association to betterment of the lives of the Walter Salvo House tenants and community.
Mhm.
Basketball game is starting.
Oh, gotcha. Appreciate, all right.
I just want to welcome Michael, David and the LTO, and we've now filled this seat on the board. It's been vacant for a while, and this is great. This is good. We have 10 of our 12 seated board members here tonight. This is a really good turnout. So, and well,
Appreciate you being here.
Well, for clarification, we did have at the annual meeting, we did have someone, but she resigned. That was chosen by the LTO. But I think so. I think we haven't gotten to the point where it's been open to anyone else yet. So we needed someone, so that's a good thing. So we can have people know what's going on in Walter Salvo. So that's really great.
yeah, it's well represented on the Ward 3 board.
All we need now is Cahill.
Next, we got we're on the.
Okay, I'm sorry, next. Okay, next report from Ward 3, school representative Emily Serafy. Cox. Are you
Yeah,
there?
well, so what Emily did is she is unable to attend on Tuesdays anymore, through July. She has another work obligation. She sent a video that was, quite informative. It covered 3 major things. The last one is the most of the video. It's about 12 minutes. I told her we could share it. How do we feel about proceeding with this? Would you like to see? She speaks about, yeah, I watched it. She speaks about the city's new budget. Sorry, the new allocation of money, about MCAS, and about buildings getting repaired.
I'd be happy to see it.
All right, yeah,
Rolling.
Yeah.
rolling. Let's go to the
People can
videotape.
get up and walk around if they want.
Yeah.
If they want.
All right, so that is here. Give me a second. How do I do this? So here,
That's me.
here, here.
There she is.
All right, and then we're gonna go pause that, go back to the video, share here, audio share, joink. You can now enter this and then
Very nice.
Wow.
I'm Emily Seraphy Cox. For
You
those
guys
of you
here?
who don't know me,
Yes.
I am the Ward 3
Yes.
the Ward 3 school committee representative. And I usually come to the Ward 3 Neighborhood Association meetings, but I now have every single Tuesday I have a training on Tuesday nights that obviously conflicts with the Ward 3 Neighborhood Association meeting. And actually it goes until July. So I won't be able to be at Ward 3 meetings until, at least after that. It's possible that it might go until September or October. They're still kind of figuring some things out with that. So I'm really sorry that I can't be there in person. But kudos to Ronnie for suggesting this video recording update. So hopefully I can be succinct. Okay, so here are a few updates that I have for you all. Keeping in mind that it is currently Wednesday, March 5th, so things may have changed by the time you view this recording. So at our last school committee meeting, we passed a request for $600,000 in a mid-year appropriation. The discussion during the meeting, was that we knew that an appropriation was needed. We had been hearing for several months, actually, from staff and students and caregivers, mostly from Bridge Street School, actually, but increasingly now JFK and the high school as well. Been hearing challenges around how things had been going since the budget cuts from that we had passed last year for this fiscal year. So the school committee decided to pass this request for a mid-year appropriation. Mid-year appropriation, and because it was right before February break, the alt team, the administrative leadership team, didn't have the ability to convene right then. So the initial proposal that went to City Council didn't have very many details, but subsequent to that, Dr. Bonner was able to meet with the principals at each school and get more specific requests from them. The total amount that equals is less than the $600,000 that we passed. So I believe it was $300,000 or $350,000 that was in the request from the alt team. I mean, I have some guesses about maybe some strategy that was around that, but I'm not sure. Probably at our next meeting, we will have a conversation with Dr. Bonner, where she can explain to us kind of what the alt team's thinking was in terms of coming back with those specific proposals and that lower amount. So the next update is that we are considering a revision to our graduation requirement policy to be in line with, obviously the revisions to the statewide graduation requirements because of the passage of question 2, issue 2 from this last November, the change around no longer requiring MCAS as a graduation requirement. So those changes will, I believe, be coming back to the school committee in its March meeting for a second reading. And then the third thing, wait, let me pause it real quick. Okay, the third thing is that there's been a lot of conversation happening around both at the school committee and the city as a whole around capital improvement projects. And this came up at the school committee because Dr. Bonner brought forward recommendations that the JFK roof be replaced and that we submit funding to the state school buildings commission, I forget what they're called, for money for the JFK roof replacement, as well as money for a heat pump at JFK. And so that prompted a conversation of, we have these capital improvements for the schools that are in the kind of broader capital improvement process. But actually, in my time on school committee, I don't remember ever voting on our capital improvement requests or, capital improvement projects. And so there was some conversation about like, well, what is the process? What should the process be? And I think there are kind of two different questions that are very related, obviously, of what should the process be for the school, committee itself in terms of what we should be requesting from the city, but then also what is the process for the whole city in terms of looking at our overall capital improvement, needs and prioritizations. So, excuse me. There is an advisory committee to the mayor that prioritizes capital improvement projects, or at least I think that's what they do. As a school committee, we've never really gotten an in-depth report from. We have a representative on the capital improvement project committee, and it's been, several different people, but we've never gotten a robust report from them other than here's what is moving forward. So like we know what's moving forward, but we didn't necessarily vote on it and we didn't necessarily have input into that process. So I definitely have some thoughts and questions around that. Pause the... Okay, I have a video that like has to be paused every few minutes, otherwise it disappears. So where I'm coming from this whole question is actually that
Can I ask, so having watched it, the next 5 minutes, she speaks about her experience in Minneapolis and her approach to this question, but it isn't necessarily new information, but beyond the capital. We can keep watching the 5. I just see us, we're at 8:21 right now. We still have a couple of items.
We do have agenda. Can we put that on the website so we can look at it?
Right.
Well, there's a link on the.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll share out the link for the last 5 minutes if folks want to watch it. And
That's okay.
if that's okay with everybody else on Zoom, is that all right with you guys?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, and then I see a hand from Fred.
Yeah, I just have a quick question. It doesn't have to be answered by Emily. I think you could probably handle it. Let's say I'm a student in Northampton school, and I guess I don't have to take the MCAS to graduate, but could I take the NCAS anyway?
Yes, so the MCAS has to be administered for all grades from 3 through 10. That didn't change with the state, just whether or not it could be used as a graduation requirement, if that makes sense. So there are definitely, I know NHS teachers who are still working with kids because you need to pass it for certain credits and for certain college applications, to show mastery of things. And you get, there's what do you call it? There's funds that you can get as a student if you get such a score level on the MCAS in high school. So scholarships, that's what I was looking for. Yeah, so they all can take it still. They all are, it is still administered at the high school, yes, and elementary and middle.
Thank you very much.
Jim's got a hand in the live room.
Yeah, I just want to say that, Emily's talking about school committee having control of capital improvement projects for the schools. There's no department in the city has control over their buildings in that manner. That's the job of central services. Central services in charge of all of the buildings, and they prioritize school buildings, NPD, fire department. All of these buildings they prioritize them all based as a collection of facilities, and so no department has a special priority to go and have their own capital improvements budget. So, but they are all wrapped together in the capital improvement program that is put together every year. And I could share more about that at some other point.
Thank you. Very helpful. All right, guys. So
Last thing I'll throw out there that she didn't get to announce is, and Jada knows as well, is that the Bridge Street School Search Committee is starting. They hope to hire a new principal. The current principal is retiring. And I believe it was May. And I think both Jada, myself, and the school council at Bridge got to see and got to participate in the drafting of the application, the posting. And we appreciated, at least I think multiple people appreciated the superintendent's approach to the process and what she's seeking in a leader for Bridge Street. It's something unique and new. And so it's exciting to be on that. And hopefully the two of us can share something afterwards. I'm sorry, in a future meeting.
good enough.
All right.
Okay, guys, so we're gonna continue on. Part of my thing got cut off, but we're now talking about the vote, the election of officer at March board meeting. Did you get all of that on your laptop? So we're talking about, currently I'm acting president because our really great person, Olivia Marshall, she stepped down. And as part of our bylaws, you know, vice president steps up to that as acting president. I've done it before, but I did not. At this point, I do want to go on as president. I feel very, I got a great group of people who are there and who are helping with this transition. Even though, as you know, in that meeting, I cried because I did not want her to leave and I didn't want to step up to this, but it is important. I've been a member of Ward 3 Neighborhood Association, 10 years, and participating. And as you can see, I go to every meeting. I've been part of the revisions of the bylaws, and I have learned so much from this group. And I have done everything I can to get people here to be a part of that, a part of Ward 3. Someone just came complain today about some stuff going on. We'll go to the Ward 3 meeting. I would like to continue in that post, and I appreciate the opportunity and all the feedback, support that I have gotten. So thank you. What? Yes.
Yeah, I just want to say, thank you for stepping up. And that while I don't think the title is interim anymore, because once somebody steps down, you automatically become the president, and that, you know, you have a choice in the matter, and your choice is that you want to do it. And I completely support you. You're doing a great job. And I thank you for stepping up. But we do have an opening to consider. Ronnie, what do you?
I would like to nominate Emily Stein as vice president.
And I second that. Can I say something? Are you going to say something? Yeah. I just would, as Bob Reckman can attest to, Emily, you were stellar with the revision of the bylaws. We met, and I call you grammar police. And I appreciate your insight, and I've seen you at all meetings, and I just think you would be fantastic. Thank you.
Any other nominations?
What? Yes.
Jim?
Yeah, so somebody had asked me to take on leadership, and I want to say why. Well, first of all, I appreciate the ask. I love this organization. I like being in leadership of this organization, but I want to remain as a board member. And I just want to tell people why, because I'm in the process of applying to be on the NHA board. And so that I don't want to be in a leadership role here while on that board. I don't think it's a conflict for Jada, because Jada holds a resident seat on the NHA board, whereas I would be likely, I've applied for the position through the governor, so I would be appointed by the governor. So anyway, I'd just like to be a board member. I know how things work, and I'm happy to help anybody out, you know, with how to do this stuff, but that is why I don't want to do it.
You said a lot. Thank you.
Well, we have a nomination and I think by law people, Emily, do we have a vote?
Quorum, where'd Fred go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. we got a quorum.
I move we close nominations.
All right.
Second.
Second, so moved.
All in favor of closing nominations?
Yes.
Hi, everybody.
Can we close them again?
I move we elect Emily Stein as our new vice president.
All right.
Yeah,
Second.
Yes.
thank
Great.
you.
Bingo.
Yes. All right.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Emily.
Okay.
I have been a vice president before in my undergrad days, so.
All right.
And where I, also edited the bylaws, so that's where my experience is.
Okay, great.
That was a long time ago, but we will, yeah, it's still there.
Nice.
You're gonna be great.
You will.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. So our last item.
Last item, myself, Jim Nash, and I have to also, Ronnie, of course, by internet, but I do have to apologize for Bob Reckman. He did want to attend, and I neglected to send him a personal email inviting him. You're always invited. You're the ex officio president, always. But I will
Thank
go
you
to
very
the
much.
to officially invite you each and every time. Always, please. So in the meantime, we met with the mayor on the 28th of February. And Jim, can I read some and you read some?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, can I ask, just as the running the tech here and seeing the time, could we cap it at like 10 minutes? You guys, think you guys could do it in 10 minutes?
Yeah, I think we could do this.
Awesome. All right. So if you guys are good with extending for 10 minutes, we're past the 8:30, but we'll wrap up in 10 and shut off the tech in 10.
Okay, and if residents want to ask more questions about this, I have this, you could see for yourself too, because it did involve Salvo.
Perfect.
All right, I'll start off. I like it. What's happening in Ward 3? We talked about that we are hybrid, and this is our second time, and we have one more time here, and then we're going to come out. Yeah,
Let's just go right to
the juice.
Okay.
Okay,
The questions. When will Northampton remove snow from our downtown?
28 guys.
So, Mayor shared that this question is featured wow, in the most recent City of Northampton newsletter, where she goes into it in great detail. The mayor shared that the newsletter also has a link that you can sign up. So this is from something we're going to send out to folks. Basically, it comes down to the reason there was snow downtown was that the snow was being stored in the middle of the street because the plows, which have the sanders on them, were necessary to keep that equipment on the dump trucks so that they could do the sanding and salting. It's actually quite an operation to take that equipment off to then start loading dump trucks. So the decision was to simply let the snow remain out there. It's melting, and then the trucks were available for sanding and salting. All right, keep going.
No, I'll let you with this, but guys, I do want to get a copy of the City of Northampton newsletter. So we'll have that and the link for that. So it's really nice to get a newsletter from the mayor's office telling us what's going on. So I'm excited about that. It's been out for a while, but I do want to get it personally.
And we have all of it. We're gonna send this out to everybody. What is the timeline for new appointments to the NHA board? We can report that residents at Salvo House would like to have one of the open seats go to a resident at Salvo House. Mayor Scher shared that there is movement to report here. Patty Healy was recently appointed and able to attend the most recent NHA meeting. So this was a few weeks ago. And as a seated member, another applicant, Ben Wood, is in the appointment process. He was actually approved by council last week. So those two seats are filled. There are 2 seats designated for residents of NHA housing. One of those seats is filled by Jada, who lives at Salvo House. The mayor intends to fill the other resident seat with someone outside the city center, and she is actively seeking someone from Florence Heights.
And poor Sander, I think she said.
Okay. One of the NHA boards, one of the board seats is appointed by the governor, and I've told you my application is in process. So that's the update on the NHA, seats. What is the status of the NPD police detail? The mayor shared that this is an ongoing matter between the NHA and the NPD. The mayor said that Chief Cartlidge continues to work with the NHA on security issues at Salvo, and I think we should invite Chief Cartlidge to our next meeting.
Okay.
This came from Deb Henson. As NPS considers ways to slow spending, should we be concerned about the possibility of Bridge Street School closing? What do you recommend we do to avoid this? At this time, there are no plans to consolidate school facilities, and specifically, there are no plans to close Bridge Street School or any other school. That said, the school district is actively engaged in a strategic planning process. Evaluation of facilities is an aspect of this process. The mayor said that she is not involved in current subgroup discussions where consolidation might be discussed. So she's not involved in any discussions around closing schools at this time. The mayor shared that she expects that declining enrollment in Northampton schools will be a factor in recommendations. She also added that Northampton is not alone in this trend, that enrollment in public schools is declining nationally. The mayor shared that climate action and project management director Ben Wheel views Bridge Street School as a structure that presents challenges to meeting our climate goals, and this too could be a factor in recommendations. I have a comment on that. The mayor emphasized that if a school closure was recommended by the Strategic Planning Committee and approved by school committee and city council, consolidation would take several years to implement. The mayor did advise that disruptions in funding from Washington could rapidly change matters and accelerate a host of decisions for the school district. And that Ben Wheel, I just want to make a comment about what Ben Wheel said there about that Bridge Street School it's an older school, it's hard to retrofit, it's hard to make green, but the one thing it's got in its favor is it's a walkable neighborhood school. And that if there's anything that we can do as a community to support that school is to promote kids walking to school, promote community, promote parents sending their kids there. If people continue to drive people there, that's making the case for just building a central school somewhere and we get rid of that facility. So I supporting the walking school bus and anything like that is good for Bridge Street School. And we can argue to Ben Wheel that is a factor. That, yeah, maybe the building costs a little more, but in terms of its carbon footprint, if it's using much less, that will impact the kids' thinking on things. So that's pretty much it from the mayor.
Yes, I want to say something. We do have Kara Leeper here, who's the executive director of Northampton Housing Authority. And there was a question that I didn't know about, but maybe it can be answered. We were told in the mayor's office that is each housing property have something of treated sand, treated mean salt and sand, and there should be on every property. Did I hear that? Or was it just me?
I think what the mayor said is that barrels could be of salt and sand can be made available to residents throughout the city, and that they could be made available over here by Salvo Allen.
We have some here at Salvo House already.
Where are they?
I believe there's one in the front. They're scattered all over the place. They're blue barrels and they have little flaps on them.
Right.
Okay.
I ordered barrels and I had the guys cut squares and then flaps on them so that they would keep the water out.
That's great.
And they're filled with sand and salt mixture.
Blue barrels. And she did also say that you could go to the recycling center and you
can actually go and pick up your own sand and salt if you want to haul it for free.
Well, we don't get it for free. The housing authority has to pay for the sand and salt. We do that as a benefit to the residents.
Well, my understanding is that any person can go get it.
Any person can go get it and
Resident can take a bucket and get it for free, but we as a housing authority have to pay for it, but we do that and we supply it with the residents.
And the triad council, they meet once a month over at the senior center, and the triad council will get together with the fire department and they go and bring sand and things to elderly residents who can't get out. So that's also another avenue to go to the triad council and ask for help with sand or salt if they need.
Yeah.
If it-
And I think, sorry, I think you can call the Council on Aging and get that and schedule that to them.
Um,
Well, there's one other thing she did say, unless we're still.
well, I just want to jump on the, piece of the schools and the enrollment, just to share. For the last 10 years, just checking the last numbers here, since 2016, this is the highest enrollment at Bridge Street. In 2016, it was 296 students, 97 students. Now it's 282 students. And in that time, it dropped as low as 230, I think I saw, as I was running the numbers. So there is, enrollment has dramatically increased at Bridge. And in what the superintendent's posting for the new principal includes a focus on the fact that Bridge Street is uniquely located in the city center near not only city government and businesses, but the resources of the Tri-County Fair, other, the Bridge Street Cemetery, the walkability of it. So it's
33 Holly Street.
33 Holly Street. It's a learning center mecca for public education to walk out your door versus being shipped off somewhere, wherever they would build something. But I am on that strategic one, on the consolidation subgroup, working group, and we haven't even gotten started. So as Jim shared, it'll be years out.
Oh, wow, great. There was one other thing that was mentioned, said, what can the Ward 3 Neighborhood Association do for our city and our ward? And after a lengthy meeting, the mayor thanked the Ward 3 Neighborhood Association for our efforts to build community and to bring positivity for our city. And she encouraged us to continue doing this work. Did we set up a time the next time we meet? It's once a month or is it once a quarter?
We haven't set it up, and I think at our next meeting, we should entertain questions again for the mayor.
Okay.
I think the mayor's, it's budget season, the mayor's gonna be pretty busy, so.
Okay.
But I would like to point out, the questions did get driven by our meeting from last month. And so I appreciate everyone who came here and we were able to ask her some great questions. And so next month we'll have a meeting again. And, it was great that it wasn't just a couple of heads that came up with the questions. It was this meeting and group. So I appreciated that.
And
It
then,
was a great meeting.
thank you. And then also, guys, we will have our final meeting here at Savo House next month.
And we have a guest speaker of the new director of the Tri-County Fair,
Taylor Haas.
Taylor Haas. Thank you.
Now, is that gonna be a final or are we gonna continue doing hybrid?
Let's do it. We're scheduled to do one more here. Let's do it. This is
We
great.
can
We really-
schedule it for the rest of the year if we need to. All I need to do is know so I can request the room.
Yeah.
We were scheduled to go to Bridge Street School.
Yeah, maybe at our next meeting, we can figure out,
We'll figure.
yeah,
Do you
Let's do
have the
next year.
hybrid? You have the hybrid of
I'll
capabilities at
check
Bridge Street?
Bridge. It's a good point.
Definitely.
We can't use bridge in the summertime.
And we can't use it in the summertime, true. And this is a sweet setup.
Yeah.
They,
Good setup.
so they have that, what you guys have here is amazing. So
Yeah.
we'll see if we can, but,
And thank you to the Neighborhood Watch for allowing us to use their system.
Hey,
Great,
it's not
great.
Neighborhood Watch. This is Salvo's system. So it's all residents and the LTO keeps it locked up for us so that nobody
thank you.
messes it up. So there's multiple people involved in
Great.
helping.
Thank you all.
I move to end the meeting for 15
Motion
minutes.
Second.
Thank you.
Bye. See you later.
Thank you.
All right, guys. See ya. Anybody else have any questions? I have the handout from the meeting with the mayor.
So I want to send this out. I'm going to edit it up a little more, Ronnie,